coming today. I met with Mark a couple of weeks ago and he told me to open with my big dream, my wow statement. So I thought I would share what keeps me awake at night is creating a solution to these global problems of food-related chronic disease and agricultural water pollution. I think we can solve this through private business. It doesn't have to be through taxpayer dollars and through government programs. So I think it's an idea that really excites me, and I'm going to give you a background on where this idea evolved from, kind of just more of a story rather than a pitch contest like Mark said. So back in 2010, I picked up this book in a Whole Foods market, and it was the story of an economist named Muhammad Yunus who recognized a lot of problems in his community and he wanted to solve them, but he didn't want to create non-profits because they would require constant input of money from philanthropists. But he also wasn't motivated by making a lot of money, so he created these self-sustaining businesses that used all their financial resources to maximize benefit to the community, and they didn't return any money to him at all. So it's kind of like a self-sustaining non-profit. And he coined the term social business to describe what he was doing rather than have to explain the whole thing every time. So I was really inspired by this book, and at the time I had no intention of ever starting a business, but then I ran into a few problems of my own, and because I had this book in my mind the whole time, it gave me an idea for what we could do. So these are the two problems I recognized. I was working in the local food business. I worked for Waseda Farms Market in De Pere, and I was talking to hundreds, possibly thousands of customers about problems they had, and I was also experiencing problems myself. First of all, on the left here, we have the local eco-friendly farmers who find it a lot easier to grow food than to sell it. There's just not a high demand for local food. Even though there are a lot of people who really love the local food movement, there was a low demand. And that low demand was stemming from the problem on the right, which I was experiencing myself. The only way to eat local food right now is to have a lot of time to cook for yourself, and you have to go to the market, and you have to cook, and then you have to clean. You have to do the planning in the beginning. And the only way to get around that is to have a lot of money and go to farm-to-table restaurants every day, which are kind of expensive. So there was a barrier of inconvenience and high prices that was preventing a lot of those local food fans from actually eating local food. And then that was causing the problem for the farmers of having low demand. So thinking about this, what I read in this book, I thought we could solve this problem by creating a business that makes ready-to-eat local food, and rather than selling it at a profit-maximizing price and pushing a lot of people out of the market because they can't afford it, we would sell it at just the lowest price possible to make it a self-sustaining business, but not try to maximize profit. So it's like a self-sustaining nonprofit. So that's the problem, and here's the solution. The local food experiment I thought would be the bridge between the farmers and the customers. And we would make ready-to-eat food that's trying to maximize the convenience and affordability, and the only financial goal is to cover our costs and not require any donations. So this is how it works. To really cut down on cost, we removed all the luxuries of walk-in convenience. A lot of places you could walk into a deli and just order right there and get the food. But that increases the cost because there's food waste that goes along with that if people don't show up to buy the food. So what we do is we do everything through pre-orders. That usually is 3 or 4 days in advance of when we're going to do the cooking. That gives us time then to buy the ingredients from the local farmers. We make the food right now in the Brown County Culinary Kitchen. It's an incubator kitchen. We pay $15 an hour to rent that, so that keeps our costs down too. And then we have no retail space. We just meet people at a city park or somewhere like a group pickup spot where everybody comes and gets the food. So it's a really lean system, and we're able to keep our costs really low and make it affordable. So this is the progress we've done so far. We started in August last year, and we just wanted to serve 20 households in the beginning just as a learning experience. We weren't making enough revenue with 20 households to pay the cooks, so we're all just volunteers, but we made enough money to cover all the other costs. And then as we grow bigger, once we get to 50 or 60 households this spring, that'll be at the level where all the cooks can get paid a living wage, $15 an hour, and we'll cover all our costs that way. As we get further on this year, my goal is to make it a full-time business where it operates every week, 4 days a week, so we could have 4 full-time jobs for the cooks, and it wouldn't require any donations of time or money at that point. And then going forward next year, I hope we can serve 1,000 households. This would create huge demand for local food, because if each household's eating $20 worth of local ingredients, that's $20,000 a week of local food, and that would really help a lot of farmers. And it would also create economic opportunities for farmers to convert land that's currently used in unsustainable methods, and they could create new organic farms, kind of the new up-and-coming farmers that have a desire to create sustainable farms, but currently they don't have the demand to do that. So that's what I'd like to do. And then eventually, if we can prove this, we can make this work here in Green Bay, we can replicate it in communities all around Wisconsin and then all around the world. So I'm not interested in franchising this to make any money from it. I'd rather make it an open source model that people can then replicate in their own towns. And I feel like doing this, we can really solve those 2 problems I had at the beginning about food-related chronic disease and agricultural water pollution, because we'll remove those barriers of inconvenience and high prices. That's really the story behind it. I know I really didn't give too many details, but I probably gave you enough of an overview that you can ask questions based on what I've presented.
So like I said,